Barakata Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation Allah Akim Odep that's doing the work all across the four winds. To you I salute. Alright. In order to be a true Christian, you have to be an Israelite. Alright. So this is a brief lesson just to prove that. Lambacking of the brother Benji from the GMS camp. Is a very diligent brother. Very diligent. Alright. So without further ado, I want to get into it. This is the book of Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. It says, "And when he had found him, and he brought him unto Antioch, and it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church, and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first at Antioch." Alright? And the disciples were first called Christians at Antioch. Alright? So now, you see that. So let's jump here now to Acts chapter 18. Verse 1. It says, "After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them." Alright? So we see here that Claudius commanded all the Jews to depart from Rome. Alright? So now let's get a little bit of history on that. Alright? Yes, Salakia for that. This is the and you can look this information up for yourself, Akim. Alright? This is Claudius' expulsion of the Jews from Rome. Alright? It says reference of an expulsion of the Jews from Rome by the Roman Emperor Claudius, who was in office AD 49 to 54. Appears in Acts of the Apostles, Acts 18 and 2, what we just read. And in the Roman writings of the Roman historian Suetonius. Alright? And Dio Cassius. And we'll get them. And in the 5th century Christian author Paulus Aureus. Alright, scholars generally agreed that these reference refers to the same incident. Alright, says the exact date is uncertain. The maximum time window for the expulsion of the Jews from Rome is from January AD 41 until AD 53. Alright, more detailed estimates such as those based on the AD 49 dates by Aureus, or the reduction of the AD 53 upper limit due to the proconsul Gallio's health and possibly controversial. Alright, it says there were at least 2 expulsions of the Jews from Rome before this event. In 139 BC, the Jews were expelled after being accused of aggressive missionary efforts. Then in AD 19, Tiberius once again expelled the Jews from the city for the similar reasons. And when you go down here to the Acts of the Apostles, you'll see that we just read this. After this, Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. There he met a Jew named Aquila, native born in Pontus, who had recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because Claudius had ordered all Jews to leave Rome. Alright? There's a lot of meat in this, So, Lord willing, I'm going to do another sit down on this, and going into this first expulsion here in 139 BC. Alright? So now, what I want to do, I want to jump down here to Suetonius. But before I get Suetonius, let's get Dio Cassius. Dio makes a comment in 60.66 to 7 regarding an action early in the reign of Claudius. It says, as for the Jews, who had again increased so greatly that by reason of their multitude it would have been hard without raising a tumult to bar them from the city, and the city is Rome. He, Claudius, did not drive them out, but ordered them, while continuing their traditional mood of life, not to hold meetings, which, these were the Jews who was basically teaching, I guess, Right, so and then there's another one here with Paulius or Oresius, in the Josephus report. In his 9th year, the Jews were expelled by Claudius from the city. But Suetonius, who speaks as follows, influenced me more. Claudius expelled from Rome Jews continually rioting at the instigation of Christ, which is Yahushua, because they was teaching Yahushua. Alright? As for whether he commanded all Jews rioting against Christ, which is this is speaking about Yahushua, but restrained and checked, or also had wanted the Christians as a persons of covenant religion to be expelled. It is not at all to be discerned. Alright, why? Because those Jews and the Christians, they are the same people. Alright? But now let's go back up here to Suetonius. Alright, it said a brief statement in Davis Claudius 25 mentioned the agitations by the Jews which led Claudius, the Roman emperor, from AD 41 to 54 to expel them from Rome. Alright? Since the Jews constantly made disturbance at the instigation of Christos, which this is Yahushua, because they was following Yahushua, he, the Emperor Claudius, expelled them from Rome. Alright? The expulsion event Suetonius refers to is necessarily later than AD 41 and early than AD 54, precisely dating expulsion from Suetonius provides some challenges because Suetonius writes in a topical rather than a chronological fashion, necessitating the use of other texts to pinpoint the time. Alright? The dating of the edict of Claudius for the expulsion of the Jews relied on 3 separate texts beyond Suetonius' own reference, which in chronological order are the reference to the trial of Apostle Paul by Gallio in the Acts of the Apostles, which would we just read here, 18 and 2, would we read a little earlier. Cassius Dios would we just read reference in history 60.6.67, and Paulus or Aureus in the 5th century mentioned in his history in 7.6.15 to 16 of non-existent Josephus reference, Salakia. Alright? It says, most scholars agree that the expulsion of the Jews mentioned in the book of Acts is consistent with reports by Suetonius. And what you will find out is that the Bible is accurate in history. Alright? Saying the exact same thing. Alright? So you can't refute this. Alright? So all you church-going people out there, I hope you're listening. Alright? It says, Donna Hurley notes that Acts provide a date of 49, but adds to neither the Tacitus nor Dio reports an expulsion in 49 or 50 as would be expected if there had been a large exodus of the Jewish community, concluding that all is probably a pro-hyperbole. But then here, they're saying all, it basically going back to the Jews who was causing this uproar. You see what I said? That's who this is speaking about. So this is an exaggeration. Alright? So moving along, right? They said the passage may suggest that in the mid-1st century that the Romans still viewed Christianity as a Jewish sect. You hear that? So these Christians, alright, they were Israelites. Alright? They were Israelites. Alright, there wasn't no difference. And I can show you something in a little bit. Alright? It said historians debate whether or not the Roman government distinguished between Christians and the Jews prior to nervous modification of Fiscus Judaicus in AD 96. From then on, practicing Jews paid tax and Christians did not. All right, and that's what this was about. All right, this is where the division came in. All right, so now let's get the Fiscus Judaicus. All right, because Judaism, that isn't a damn religion. That ain't no religion. All right, the Fiscus Judaicus, Latin for Jewish tax, or Fiscus Judaicus, was a tax collecting agency instituted to collect the tax imposed on the Jews in the Roman Empire after the destruction of the temple. After the destruction and its temple in AD 70, revenues were directed to the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus in Rome, and that was about. This was a tax to put on the damn Jews. All right, because when we go back, you know, it tells you here that where he is now. It tells you here that practicing Jews paid tax and Christian did not. That's why they was dabbed. And these Christians, they were Israelites. Then they didn't want to pay the tax. All right, they didn't want to pay the tax. All right. So now let's jump down here to schism between Judaism and Christianity. It said the Fiscus Judaicus was originally imposed on the Jews. So this is a tax. All right. At the time, neither the Romans, nor probably, well, we know, it says probably, but we know for sure, you know, that the early Christians considered Christianity to be a religion from Judaism, right? Because Judaism is a heritage. That's our heritage, laws, statutes, and commandments. All right? And these ones who were practicing Christianity were returning back to Judaism and converting back, because the word convert means to return. All right? So this was separating them, they're paying tax. All right? If anything, they would have considered themselves as a sect within Judaism. See that? They were Israelites. So in order to be a Christian, you have to first be an Israelite. All right? Now the thing is, damn, Christianity for everybody today. All right? It says, if anything, they would consider themselves as a sect within Judaism, which historians refer to as Jewish Christianity. Why? Because they were Israelites. All right? All right? They were Israelites. However, whether that was the intention or not, it did not take long for Christians to petition the emperor to distinguish the Christians for the purpose of payment of the Fiscus Judaicus, as the tax only applied to practicing Jews. All right? So that's why they fled Rome. All right? And that's what this was about. Because those ones who were practicing Christianity, they didn't want to damn pay the tax. All right? It said if they could be recognized as a separate religion, they would escape the impose. Okay? Now you see why they was practicing Christianity? Huh? Because they didn't want to pay the tax. But the thing is, yeah, the Judaism and the Christianity, they were all Israelites. All right? They were all Israelites. Let's get that. This is the book of Acts, chapter 21 and verse 19. All right? It says, and when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things the Most High had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. All right? And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord and said unto him, thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. All right, but then it says here they call them Gentiles earlier, but then here they saying Jews. All right, and they are informed of thee that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they are not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. But it's saying here, the Jews, so these Gentiles, those practicing Christianity, they were all Jews. They were Israelites. All right? Check this out. All right? This is Tobit in the Apocrypha. All right? Confess him before the Gentiles. Why? Ye children of Israel, for he had scattered us among them. So, I hope now that you would understand here that the ones that were being called Christians, the first called Christians at Antioch, that you would see now that they are all Israelites. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to Allah Akim that is doing the work. To you I salute. Shalom. Shalom.